What if I told you that right now, today, you could build a food supply that doesn't just last years, but outlasts your house, your car, and possibly even you? Not emergency rations, not freeze-dried gimmicks, real food. The kind that civilizations trusted before electricity, refrigeration, or modern supply chains even existed. Because, here's the truth, most people never realize, food doesn't expire because of time. It expires because of conditions. And once you understand that, you stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a system builder. Today, I'm going to show you 20 foods that don't just last a long time. They last indefinitely. And by the end of this, you're going to see your pantry very differently. Let's start with the one that breaks people's understanding. Instantly, honey. Archaeologists opened jars of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs, over 3,000 years old, still edible. That honey existed before entire empires rose and collapsed, and it still didn't go bad. Why? Because honey is engineered by nature to resist decay. Almost no moisture, high acidity, natural antimicrobial compounds. Bacteria can't grow in it. Mold can't survive in it. It doesn't rot because nothing can live inside it. The only thing that can destroy honey is you. Leave it open, introduce moisture, and you break the system. Keep it sealed. It outlasts generations. Now, compare that to how most people store food. Expiration dates, rotation schedules, constant replacement. It's not because food has to work that way. It's because they're storing the wrong type of food. Take white rice. Not exciting, not glamorous, but structurally. It's one of the most stable calorie sources on Earth. When rice is milled into white rice, the oils are removed. And oils are what go bad. Remove the weakness, and suddenly you have a food that can sit for 25, even 30 years, unchanged. Same calories, same value, the only enemies. Moisture, oxygen, light, control those, and time stops mattering. Then you move into something even more powerful. Seeds, dried beans, lentils, chickpeas. These aren't just food. They're dormant life. A bean doesn't expire the way fresh food does. It waits, years, decades, until the conditions are right again. Water, heat, time, and it comes back to life. Which means, when you store beans, you're not just storing calories. You're storing potential. Food today, and food production tomorrow. But here's where it starts to get interesting. Because now, we're not just talking about survival. We're talking about control. Whole wheat berries, not flour. The raw, intact kernel. Store flour, it goes stale. Store the kernel. And you've essentially paused time. 30 years later, you grind it, and it becomes fresh flour again. Bread, pasta, everything, on demand. That's not food storage, that's food control. And then we hit the turning point. The one most people completely overlook. Salt. Salt doesn't expire. Because it was never alive. No biology, no decay, no breakdown, just a mineral that lasts forever. But salt isn't valuable just because it lasts. It's valuable because it makes everything else last. Before refrigerators, before canning, salt was the system. It preserved meat, vegetables, entire civilizations. Salt isn't food, it's technology. And once you understand that, you stop asking, how long does this last? And start asking, what conditions does this require? That shift changes everything. Because suddenly, you're not dependent on a supply chain anymore. You're designing your own. Now fast forward to something completely different. Pemmican, dried meat, rendered fat, sometimes berries. That's it. But this simple combination fed explorers across thousands of miles because it solved the two biggest problems in food storage. Moisture, and oxygen. Remove both, and even meat becomes stable. Not for weeks, not for months, but for years. And then there's the final piece. Hardtack, the simplest food on this list. Flour, water, salt, baked until every trace of moisture is gone. That's it. Soldiers ate it in wars over 100 years ago. Some pieces still exist today, unchanged. Because, again, no moisture, no decay, and that's the pattern. Every single food on this list follows the same rules. Control moisture, control oxygen, control exposure. Do that, and food stops behaving like something temporary, and starts behaving like something permanent. So the real question isn't, what should you store? It's, do you want convenience or control? Because convenience expires. Control doesn't. If this changed how you think about food, you're just getting started. Because most people never question the system they depend on. But the moment you do, you start seeing opportunities everywhere. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the first thing you'd start stockpiling? And more importantly, what's been stopping you? That's where the real conversation begins.